calculated choices was to, first of all, attend college, and just, get out of my comfort zone from being from the small town. And when I first came on the campus of University of Memphis, the very first time was in 1981. I graduated from high school in May of 1980, and I didn't get all of my financial aid and that kind of thing done in time. So I had to wait until the fall of 81 to start. So I came out here and had to take the entrance exam and that kind of thing. I was scared to death. It was almost like going to New York City. I mean,
I remember that
feeling. From Mississippi. So, that was one of the things, that fear. And I came on in and was accepted. And after 2 years, I had to, drop out because the money was just not there. My parents, they were, working on farms and so forth. So the money was just not there. So I had to drop out. The reality setting in. And I went to work.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of So What Success Stories. And today I have another special guest. This is my friend, Annette McNeil. Now I met Annette, I know she may have to help me on that. I can't even remember when we met because now I just remember when we did meet, I fell in love with her immediately. I believe we met when Dean Grover introduced us. And Dean Grover,
2007 or 2008, around 2007, 2008.
Okay, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there when I started teaching for Fogelman, the Fogelman College of Business and Economics. Annette is the dean's assistant for the Fogelman College of Business and Economics at the University of Memphis, which is my beloved alma mater, and I am a graduate of Fogelman. And I think that when we met, it was because the dean had asked me to create the course for Fogelman, which was a huge, huge honor. And then that's what it was. And then he introduced us because he was on your side and really trying to lift you and build you. And he connected us at that point. So we'll get into that a little bit more. But Annette, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Annette, and I am originally from Tunica, Mississippi. But I've been in Memphis longer than I lived in Tunica, actually. And I am happily married, and I have one son and two bonus daughters and a host of grands. And I am happy. I've been here at the University of Memphis for more than 34 years.
Wow, that is awesome, Annette. That is awesome. And so as you're telling each one of those stories, or each little bit about yourself, I'm thinking about, I know deeper about the husband, about the child, about the career. So I'm so excited to get in this program for you to share some more. So in this program, I have what I call the So What Success system. It is my belief that if a person can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, they can have so what success. And that is success in spite of any challenges they face. And Annette, I know you are a so what success woman because of the stories that you've already shared with me and that you shared with my class at the University of Memphis. So first, let's talk about the first component of the so what success system, which is overcoming obstacles. Share some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome and just how you've done it.
Overcoming, first of all, being a teen mother. I gave birth to my son, I was 15 and still in high school. And I thank God for my support system, my mother, my aunt, and next door neighbors, and my son's paternal grandmother. So I had a village to help me get through that. Graduated from high school with honors, and I haven't been pregnant before or since. So there was a life lesson learned there. There was one obstacle I was scared to death. So, but, through the years, things, developed, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So that was one of the obstacles.
And that was the one I think that I of course, immediately resonated with, right?
Another obstacle was being from a small town and, not thinking at the time that my high school may not be considered, really good high school to be from. But we've had a very, a great deal of successful people from my high school, which is Rosa Ford High School, graduated in the best class 1980. And that was an obstacle, and I know I wanted to attend the University of Memphis for my college education. So that was overcoming an obstacle, being accepted at the University of Memphis and being able to, you know, matriculate through college with, basic high school education.
And as a teen mom. So that was a similar thing for me, right? Coming to the University of Memphis already as a mom. So that's really cool that you were able to do that, because you spoke about it and you smiled about it, but we both know that is a very big challenge for a lot of people to be able to do that, to be able to come from a small town or have the experience that you had, and also to be a teen mom. And to also be a teen mom. So the next part of the SOA Success System is about eliminating excuses. Talk about some of the excuses that you had to eliminate.
Okay, so one of the excuses I had to eliminate was being a product of your environment. So many of us use that as an excuse, and it's really not a reason, it's just that it's an excuse. So, your environment can make you bitter or make you better. And so I was just determined that I wasn't, going to be looked at as, oh, okay, you're a teen mom, you're just going to start having babies one after the other, and you're not going to do anything else. So graduated from high school with honors, and I just didn't allow that to be an obstacle.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you didn't use it as an excuse. And then, so the third part of the SOA Success System is calculating choices. And so I'm thinking about some of the choices that I know that you've made so that you could eliminate those excuses and you could overcome those obstacles. Talk about some of the calculated choices that you made along your journey to get to where you are today.
Calculated choices was to, first of all, attend college. And just, get out of my comfort zone from being from the small town. And when I first came on the campus of University of Memphis, the very first time was in 1981. I graduated from high school in May of 1980. And I didn't get all of my financial aid and that kind of thing done in time. So I had to wait until the fall of 81 to start. So I came out here and had to take the entrance exam and that kind of thing. I was scared to death. It was almost like going to New York City. I mean,
I remember that
feeling. From Mississippi. So, that was one of the things, that fear. And I came on in and was accepted. And after 2 years, I had to, drop out because the money was just not there. My parents, they were, working on farms and so forth. So the money was just not there. So I had to drop out. The reality setting in. And I went to work from like 82 and then 88. Life ended up back here on campus. So for a long time, I just worked here and kept telling myself every semester, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go. And the next semester, I'm going to go back next semester. I even enrolled a couple times and then just didn't go. Finally, was like registered to start school. Dr. Grover came out, and I am just forever grateful to him and glory to God for putting him in my path. And just kind of came out to my desk one day and said, you enrolled in school? I said, oh, yes, I'm going to start next semester. He said, no, you're going to start now. And mind you, this was July and classes were starting in about 3 weeks. So I had to scurry and get, instead of saying I'm starting in the spring, I had to start in the fall. So that was just that,
yes.
And just to kind of, that was a calculated choice to say, okay, I have to get this thing done. And so his backing and with him allowing me to voices and just introducing me to a lot of things, because I'm very bashful, very, very bashful. And sometimes there were times I should have spoken up and I didn't. But, I rely a lot on my faith, So, I like to say, I'll just sit back and let God fight my battles. He can do it a lot better than I can. And that way I know I'm always aligned with what it is he has for me. So I don't
think that's a awesome story. And that, and that's part when I came into the picture around that time.
Yes.
Is when I first met you, because I got introduced to Dean Grover, when I got the Fogelman Outstanding Young Alumni Award. And then he got introduced to me and wanted me to create the class and introduced me to you. And I just thought it was such a beautiful story that he was your boss. He was your boss, and he had been your boss for a while. But he saw that in you. And not only did he see that in you, he pushed you. He pushed you to not only get a bachelor's, you have your master's as well, right? Yes, we can't leave that part out.
I graduated, and a couple of weeks later, classes start. So I just went right into it. I didn't have a break. And I said to one of my brothers-in-law, who he has a PhD, I said, oh, I'm just going to take a break, because I was taking online courses and, 1 or 2 classes every semester. And I thought, well, I've been doing this for a while. I'm just going to take a break. So my brother-in-law, Dr. Reverend Press Hargrove, he said, how long were you out of school from 1982 until now? I said, yeah, quite a while. He said, that was your break. You don't need a break. Go ahead and get your master's. I said, yes, sir.
Love it.
No, don't get complacent. You're in the mode, just keep going.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I just think that's beautiful, and it's beautiful to have people. So for you to make that choice yourself, but then to have people in your corner who push you and really, really put an exclamation mark and some speed on that choice is a really, really beautiful thing. So for you to go from being a teen mom from a small town, not a whole lot of resources, right?
Right. And this was prior to the casinos coming to Tunica. So can you imagine 1980, there was 1977, 1980, there was, very, very few opportunities in Tunica.
I can only imagine, because I only know of Tunica with the casinos, and didn't even know anybody from Tunica. I didn't even know you were from Tunica. And to see where you are now, and then I also want you to share, because I see, we're friends. We're friends in real life, but we're also friends on Facebook. And I also see and admire when you post about your husband. You want to talk a little bit about your journey to that happiness?
When I got married, this is actually my second marriage, and it's my husband's second marriage. So my first marriage, I was, in my 30s thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to get married. So that first one went by. I have people laugh. I tell them, oh, I was married about 5 minutes the first time.
Same
but,
here.
it was like, we can't even count that one. But, from the time that my husband and I, my first husband and I split, and I met my current husband, it's like you say, I had to kiss a lot of frogs to get to my prince. But my husband, he's a testimony in and of himself. Some struggles in life, and God touched him, and he dedicated and devoted his life to Christ. And I often refer to him as the one he kept for me, because my husband, the doctors called the family in and said, hey, if God doesn't save him, there's nothing else I can do. So I knew, the Holy Spirit just spoke to me. So I took that as a sign, as, God kept him for me. And I was single all those years, and my husband was single all those years. And when we met, it was instant. God was just in that thing. And we met July 1st, 2013, and we got married March 29th, 2014.
I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pull that story out too, because in these interviews, I talk about everything, right? I want people to know, because we are whole people. We have personal lives, we have professional lives, we have personal challenges, we have professional challenges, and they all work together, and they hurt each other, they help each other, right? And so somebody watching this needed to hear that story. And one of those somebody's is me. Okay, say it again. I didn't hear you.
I was just saying, keep hope alive, because there was a time, I never doubted that God, I used to tell God when I talked to him, God, you're love. And I know you will not allow me to come on my journey, live and die, and not experience true love in my life, because that's what you're all about. So I'm trusting in you. I didn't have any faith in some of these busters, but I had my faith in God was just always there. And I am just so happy. I'm just so happy.
And it shows, and you deserve that happiness. You definitely deserve that happiness. And I do. I love seeing when you post the two of you, because I know a bit of your journey regarding that. So all of that. So from being a teen mom, experiencing a marriage that was a blip on the screen, which I can relate to both of those things, to being highly educated now, and successful in your career, happy in your relationship, in your marriage. It's a beautiful thing. You are a success woman. You are so a success woman. But Annette,
glory to God.
Glory to God. I hear you. How do you define success? What's your personal definition of success now?
And I wrote this down. I thought about that. Happiness, contentment, loving, the love of my family and friends and community. Those are the things to me. I want to get it right. Happiness, that's success for me. Contentment, finding yourself content in every state that you're in, and the love of family and friends and community. When you have people that are there to support you and that's going to give you an encouraging word, and my faith in God, that's all to me, that's successful. When I can see God just moving and working in my continuous basis, even when I don't understand or see how things are going to come out. And then I come out and look back and go, that was only God. So those things constitute success for me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And as I'm looking at you too, I have to say this, makes me think about a moment of accomplishment that I saw in you and in your life. It was small compared to a lot of the other things, but I saw it and you felt good, and it made me feel good when you did come to speak to my class. So again, credit to Dean Grover, Rajiv Grover. Look, shout out to Dean Grover.
Shout out to Dean Grover. Thank you so much, Dean Grover.
I'm telling you, for you and your journey and his role in your journey. And then even for me, one, selecting me as outstanding young alumni for the College of Business, Fogelman College of Business. And then two, asking me to create that life skills class where my book got to be the textbook, which is huge for me, that I got to teach in some of the same classrooms where I was a student with my son sitting beside me. It was major. And then I know Dean Grover said, it was Dean Grover who's like, I want Annette to teach one of your classes. And so it's like, okay, cool. And that's when we really officially met. And you came in and you taught one of my classes. And it was so beautiful. And I got so much. Well, first of all, I learned so much about you. And then second, I was like, why is this lady shy?
I still am.
It was so beautiful, and so what you taught my class was so, and it was basically around resilience and using your story and overcoming and having faith, and those things that you just said define success. And I remember, and this was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was a while ago. But that was a powerful thing for me to see what I felt like was a woman who was essentially started like I started, as a teen mom in a small town and unsure and shy. I was shy too. I'm not so much anymore, but shy. And to see you stand before my class and to teach my class and have such a huge impact on my class was huge. So I just want to give you those flowers so that you know you did an amazing job.
And I was having a conversation with one of your former students, and she was telling me how much that class impacted her, because it was like just so hands-on, and she was at a crossroads in her life. And when she took that class, it just catapulted her into knowing what it was that she should do and what direction she should go in. And when when she was telling me that, Felicia Roddy Jackson is who it was. And I thought, thank God, because I thank God for Summer, thank God for Dean Grover, who was instrumental in getting that class, on the roster. And, it impacted, it has a lasting impact. And that's wonderful.
I appreciate you sharing that with me. And Felicia was an amazing student. She was an amazing student. I was kind of nervous having a staff person in my class, Fogelman staff person in my class, but she was amazing. And teaching that class was was huge for me. And I still am connected to a lot of my students. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful experience for me. And I am so grateful for the feedback that I've gotten. I have a lot of essays from my students to where, because that was part of their course, was to share what they learned and what they got out of it. And so we all do what we do for impact. And I'm just grateful that I was able to have that impact and make these amazing connections, including connecting with you, who I think you are. I know you are an amazing, amazing person. So I have one last question for you. And it's just this: what's one piece of advice would you leave with someone who wants to be successful, but they run into obstacles?
Or advice on being successful is to do what you know is morally the right thing to do. And we always know sometimes morally may not be illegal, but you have to, when you can lay down and sleep at night without having your conscience, beat you up, and always help people. God bless us with success, and when He blesses us with information that can help someone else, pass it on. Don't just keep things to ourselves. And always help. Just help people wherever and whenever you can.
Love it.
Advice on being successful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Annette, for sharing your story, for sharing your journey. Thank you for being my friend. We still got to do that lunch. We've been trying to do lunch since before COVID.
Yes, I just feel so honored and so privileged. And I've watched some of your past So What's the Sex stories. And I was thinking, would ask me, never thinking for 1 minute that you would. So this has come full circle for me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Annette. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we'll be doing lunch soon.
All right. Love you too, Summer.
Bye.
Yeah.